What is up, Philly? My name is Athan, got my boy Athan John on the mic, and welcome to Broad Street Benchwarmers podcast, presented to you by Hungry Dog Sports Blog. We're pretty excited. This is our inaugural episode, ready to go. How you doing on the mic, Athan John?
It's going fine, even though we have no sponsors and we have no money, but it should be fine.
I don't know, man. This is gonna come together.
I don't know,
Coming together. I can feel it.
Yeah.
I can feel it in the air. But we're here to talk to you today. We got all the latest headlines from Jadeveon Clowney, Last Dance, Andy Dalton. We're going to give our draft class reviews. But to start off, should we do a shameless plug?
Oh yeah, sure. So we have a blog, Hungry Dog Sports Blog. It should be in the description of this. You can probably listen to this either on Spotify or YouTube. So if you go there, post some articles of like stuff. We could just elaborate more on like what we talk about here. We can also like do some rankings and some stuff, so you can like check that out.
Oh yeah, we got uniform reviews up now. I have an article about the destruction that has been Howie Roseman on this Eagles roster, and we've got tons more coming. So be sure to check that out. And here we go.
Right.
Our headline of the day: where will Jadeveon Clowney land? Athan John told me minutes ago there are reports that Jadeveon Clowney is not returning to Seattle. You want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, so I guess since they just paid Russell Wilson like a ridiculous amount of money, which I mean obviously deserves.
Ridiculous amount of money. Come on. We love
no, like ridiculous, like I mean he deserves
Yeah.
it. Like there's no reason to, but that messes up the cap, and he was asking for like 20 mil in free agency, and like nobody was interested in that. So I guess he probably wants to take something like it's like obviously a little lower than that, but I doubt he would settle for like less than 10 mil, even though that's probably what he's worth, honestly.
I mean, I don't know. Jadeveon Clowney played injured last season. I think we all get that. And I think you can all see that I obviously, have bias against Jadeveon Clowney because, he knocked my quarterback out of the game.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the dude was not the same as in Houston. He just dominated the football field. Let's be real.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you look at the numbers. What do you have? 15 sacks 2 years ago?
Yeah, wait, let me see.
He had 9. That's not as much as I thought. They had
9.5 the year before.
A consistent presence in that Texans defense, and just an absolute ball hawk alongside J.J. Watt. I was confused from the start when they let him go, and they didn't pay him his money. And so I think, for this, there is a team. There's going to be interest somewhere.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's definitely been a step down for him. And, I don't blame Seattle.
Yeah. But, there's some teams that could use, linebacker help. The fact that people are pointing or rumoring him to the Eagles is ridiculous because Jim Schwartz doesn't know how to use linebackers for his life. And they wouldn't invest that much money in a linebacker anyways.
Well, I mean, you have TJ Edwards, who I just saw something. Shout out to Bleeding Green Nation. I love Bleeding Green Nation. I just read an article on there where they linked Pro Football Focus and said he had a 90 rating on there. It's been fantastic. Yeah. So you have all the help you need at a cheap price. Yeah. And, I mean, you don't have that much cap space either.
Yeah. You got Davion Taylor in the 3rd round. You have Nate Gary.
I mean,
with the D line, it's just the system. It's not really a thing of need, but
I think, and I'll get into it later. I think the whole Davion Taylor hype is underwhelming. I think he's just such a developmental prospect, just as far as pure football skills. He's got the athleticism. He's all over the place, but I just don't see it. But as far as Clowney, back to him, do we have any proposed landing spots for the man himself.
I mean, some teams that could use it. Maybe like Vegas has like no linebackers, so I don't know how their
Yeah.
cap situation is, but I mean that would be fine.
No, I think Vegas has a clear cap situation.
Yeah,
I mean,
because
you're
Trent
still paying
Brown,
Derek Carr,
yeah,
but
Trent Brown and
yeah,
Derek Carr, like it's a lot of money, but
yeah, but you got rid of Amari.
yeah.
You got that off the brick. So I don't know.
And I mean,
I
before free agency, I thought he would go to Miami, but they already spent all their money, so
Yeah, Byron
that
Jones.
would have been a good fit. But
That would have been a good fit. And Byron Jones, I mean, we can argue back and forth on whether that's worth it or not,
yeah,
but
it's
that
debatable.
team did need secondary help. Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I'd rather have Jadeveon Clowney, but at the same time, if Jadeveon Clowney again is not going to be healthy,
yeah,
I like Detroit for him.
yeah,
I do.
'cause
I was telling you about this, but they have the third most cap space in the National Football League.
they have,
Matthew Stafford
it's underrated,
is an underrated quarterback.
but
He
he has very
But
little help.
he
I
has
mean, he
very
has
little help
Galladay and
anywhere.
Jones, but like Matt
You
Patricia,
drafted DeAndre Swift,
yeah,
which should do something for your offense.
yeah, you have
I mean,
Hawkins
I think
and
he's more of a gadget guy, more of a Tariq Cohen than,
yeah,
a lead back, but still, that
yeah,
does something.
mhm.
And, that defense hasn't had anything since Snacks Harrison. So
Yeah,
why
like
not
you
give him a
have
little help?
Flowers was kind of disappointing, but you have
Yeah,
Akuda, you have some
you
other
have Akuda.
pieces
Yeah.
like
And
they
Akuda's going to be a top tier corner. I
yeah.
think the floor for Akuda is a mid of the NFL corner with the way
Yeah,
he played at Ohio State.
he won't be a like Eli Apple.
No,
He should
no.
be elite, but
I don't even hate Eli Apple, to be honest
yeah.
with you.
I mean,
Ohio State
he was
is
a
a
top 10
quarterback.
pick, so
He
that's
was a
just
top 10 pick.
that's
Yeah.
okay. So I guess we'll move this into more rookie talk. We'll talk about the most baffling pick of the draft, Jalen Hurts to the
Oh, God.
Eagles.
Do we have to talk about it? Do we really have to talk
I
about it?
mean, it kind of explains itself considering you have a top 10 quarterback, put the team on his back, and then you bring in a, a Heisman candidate in tournament and try to like make him into like a people saying he's a Taysom now, but that would just be
I
ridiculous. Just
mean,
playing him in together in the same game would just be absolutely just ridiculous.
look, this offseason you promised Carson Wentz weapons. You promised that. So we go into this free agency and we're thinking, can we get Manny Sanders? You know what I mean? Can we get, somebody, Rashad Perriman, just somebody? Howie does nothing. So we go into the draft. We're like, somebody's got to be coming. We got to be coming. And Jefferson slips all the way to 24.
It's insane.
Oh, it's bad connection.
It's fine. I thought you just stopped talking. Well,
No.
and considering like what you could have gotten in the second round, like there was Fulton, there's
there's
some.
Mims.
Like, you could have won 2 receivers in the first 2 rounds. Like that would
Yeah.
honestly wouldn't have been an awful idea.
No, I would be happy with that.
Yeah. Mims and Rager would have been better than. I mean, obviously better than Rager and Hurts, but like
not only do you now have weapons, but now you can clear the cap space of Alshon Jeffrey.
Yeah, of course.
And possibly Deshaun Jackson if you really want to.
I mean, they'll probably keep him just for veteran leadership.
Yeah.
And because Alshon is not a leader, obviously.
No, Alshon is the exact opposite of a leader. I think that has been proven.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times are you going to leak private information? I don't understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can hate your quarterback all you want, but you're signed here. You signed a deal here for 3 more years.
Yeah.
You're stuck here. Like, you might as well make the most of it.
Of course. Okay, so we'll go to another unreasonably publicized event of Andy Dalton going to Dallas, even though it probably is it means nothing. Like they're gonna that Dak is their future.
I mean, look, you have CeeDee Lamb, you have Ezekiel Elliott, you have Amari Cooper, you have Michael Gallup. That offense has the possibility to be one of, if not again, the best offense in football.
Yeah,
And so,
I think it is.
yeah. I mean, I would still make an argument for Tampa Bay. I'm gonna get into Tampa Bay later, but
I thought you were gonna say KC, but like, I mean,
yeah. I I think that offense has to regress. I like Sammy Watkins, but he's not gonna have the same season.
it's just up to if Clyde or Hilaire does.
Yeah,
If he has a good season, then they have the best offense.
I didn't love him out of college either. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
I think DeAndre Swift and J.K. Dobbins were the
yeah,
obvious.
I still think they're better, but I mean,
Yeah.
if he works in the system and he's better than Damian Williams, then they're unstoppable. So.
Yeah. I mean, you obviously have the Mahomes factor. The Mahomes factor is gonna kick in everywhere.
Yeah, so you're gonna win the division automatically with them. So.
Yeah. And I mean, I love Denver. I love that.
Yeah, I really like what they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, you got KJ Hamler on the outside, who's just an absolute stud. I'm not even saying that as a Penn State fan. In the return game, in the slot, he's fantastic. You get Judy, who is my second best receiver in the draft.
Yeah, and you have Sutton. You have
Sutton.
You have Lindsey and Gordon.
So, yeah. And I mean, there's a lot of talk made about how Philip Lindsay is overrated. Philip Lindsay is a great power running back. Yeah. I know that you can't give him the share of the carries, but he is like Jordan Howard if Jordan Howard never slipped off.
Just like the story of him like being undrafted and like becoming like a like he was on my fantasy team the year he blew up. So like he's a respectable player, and like they got Fan a few years ago. Like he seems solid. Like they
I had the other guy that season. I had what's his name, the backup.
Royce Freeman.
Yeah, Royce Freeman.
Yeah, and then they got some O-line help, which they needed.
Yeah.
And some like Sports Illustrated guys said that they might go after Jason Peters, which would be fine.
That would be
fine if they won holding penalties every single game. But, you know.
I love Jason Peters.
Yeah, he's a legend.
If we bring Jason Peters back, I don't know what to do with myself, to be honest.
Like he's going to Ken. He's a legend.
That much, he is going to Ken. But if you don't trust Dillard that much to bring back a 38-year-old Jason Peters,
who's regressed to like a mid-tier tackle below average,
which is still great for the career he's had over the years, but still can't have that starting.
Okay, so let's just since we're talking about drafting, if we're gonna keep on going with the draft and talk about the best sports draft classes, so I'll go with my favorite is either the Ravens or the Jets, because I mean they address some needs even though their team is stacked already. Like they got Patrick Queen, which I thought was a great pick, and J.K. Dobbins in the second round, which I think. Even though you have Ingram, you have Justice Hill, like he's still like probably one of my favorite players in the draft.
Oh yeah.
Like if they give him enough carries from the flourish in the Ravens offense, then they should 100% be like a.
I mean, I had him as AFC. Yeah, I had him as the best back in the draft by a substantial margin. Just because, again, I think DeAndre Swift's a gadget guy. And Edwards-Helaire is a fine power guy, but he just had everything. He's got the speed. He's got the strength. He's another Ohio State running back.
Yeah.
That by itself should scare the crap out of you.
Taylor should be pretty good.
Taylor should be good.
Indy, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, his last college season, I don't know. He was still great.
Yeah, he kind of put the entire team on his back.
Yeah. So you got to worry about a player with that many carries coming out of college. What do you have? 400 carries? Yeah. Did you have 400 carries by the end? Yeah.
I'm not sure.
So you have to worry about the production. It's like DeMarco Murray,
Oh my God. Eagles legend DeMarco Murray.
Eagles legend DeMarco Murray. Titans legend DeMarco Murray too.
I think he did better there than here, honestly.
Yeah, where he got beat out by the monster himself, Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
But my favorite draft class was the Arizona Cardinals. And I've talked about this. Isaiah Simmons was my second favorite player in this draft.
Yeah, I think for me it was Chase Young, Simmons.
Simmons, Burrow. Just the athleticism
the versatility
and the coverage skills. Yeah. I mean, the guy looks like Derwin James if Derwin James was 250 pounds and built like the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
Like, you can't stop him. And so to put him in the middle of a struggling Arizona defense, I think he will automatically boost that team completely. Yeah. And then you get Josh Jones in the third round, this is the guy who I had going to Tampa Bay number 14.
Yeah, I had him as like a late first rounder too.
Yeah. Again, shameless plug. Go check out the website. But
yeah, our mock drafts.
Our mock drafts are up there, so you can laugh at our previous picks.
Laughing at us getting Justin Jefferson, which
exactly. And then you have a guy like Evan Weaver, who, as a Cal fan, watching him in college, I mean, he's rusty, but he was absolutely fantastic in parts in college, and I think he's definitely going to translate into that defense. That's a nice sleeper pick in the 6th round.
Yeah.
And so overall, I mean, that's an A draft class for me. And then my other one was Denver, and I talked about Denver and how much, they lit up. But you also get guys like that tight end out of Missouri.
Yeah.
Like this Denver team improved a ton. I think we can argue about this. I think they're the second best team in that division.
Yeah, I think it's just up to if Herbert utilizes all his weapons, honestly. Because the LA is a better defense. They have, I think their defense is better, like with everybody healthy. And
I mean, I love Von Miller.
Yeah, Von I like Miller, like Chubb, and they got who they got? They got Didn't they get someone from the Chargers, right?
Oh no.
Well, I know. Oh wait, they got Bouye and Chris Harris. So
Bouye's good.
So secondary is like pretty much rebuilt at this point.
Bouye's not worth what he was paid in Jacksonville. He's not a number one anymore, but he's still a fine running back.
Yeah,
I think that's good.
And they got Derek Wolf, so like they have some D-line help, and like you have Justin Simmons, who's one of the most underrated players in the league. Like
I just look at it.
Should be a playoff team. Like if Drew Lock has a good season, then
and especially with
a solid wildcard team.
Especially with the expanded AFC, I think that's the main factor in me putting them as a playoff team. I mean, with this 7-team thing now, like
they could slip.
I mean, they look like the kind of team that can slide in at 9-7 or 10-6, and just be there. And I don't like Justin Herbert. I've talked about this before.
Yeah, I'm not a Herbert fan either.
I'm not a Herbert guy. I'm just not. I don't see having watched him in college.
Yeah, I just think having Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Eckler, Hunter Henry, like he would be fine in like a system.
I think the system he played at Oregon definitely did not fit him.
Yeah.
He was definitely, I think the NFL fits him better in that way. Yeah. But at the same time, there's the arm strength's not there all the time. Neither's the accuracy.
Yeah.
He's a good runner. That shocked me. He's a good runner. He showed that in the championship game. But I like Drew Lock better. I do.
Yeah.
Drew Lock looks to me like Jared Goff. That's what he looks like to me, which is not great. But with the weapons he has around him in Denver, I know Los Angeles has more, but with the weapons he has around in Denver, if he plays like Jared Goff, I think that's the second best team in that division.
Sure. Okay, so going to worst draft class. I think mine should be obvious to some. It's not the Eagles, surprisingly. I don't know if it's yours, but The Green Bay Packers, they did.
Wow.
They, they got a quarterback who's, I don't know. I think he's fine, but they could have waited like a year or two to get a replacement for Aaron Rodgers, and they got AJ Dillon in the second round, which is unnecessary considering they have Aaron Jones, who I think is amazing, and Jamal Williams, and then tight end from Cincinnati in the third round. I don't know why. I mean,
Yeah,
they
makes
lost
sense.
they lost Jimmy
They
Graham,
did lose Jimmy Graham, but they don't
but like they they have Adams. I mean, they
they need
100% should have
receivers.
went receiver in the first
Yeah.
round because you have Javante Adams, you have Scantling, and that's about it. And Scantling is like a third, fourth string receiver on a team that
Yeah.
should be competing for a Super Bowl.
So my worst draft, believe it or not, is not the Eagles either.
Oh wow.
My worst draft is the New England Patriots.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean that's fair.
I mean, Kyle Duggar is a good safety. He is an athletic dude, but he is a project. And with your first pick in the second round, I just don't know. With the guys that were on the board, I don't know if that's right. And then you took a kicker in the fifth round.
Yeah.
This is the one that really shocked me. This kicker was not even on most people's boards.
Yeah.
And you traded. It just didn't make sense to me. I don't know.
You traded
It's
and
like,
plus they traded out of the first round.
yeah,
To LA for a second and a third, which was I guess
that's a decent move.
yeah.
I
But I
mean,
mean,
this is a rebuilding year
yeah.
as far
They,
as Bill Belichick. I love Jared Stidham, but this is a rebuilding year.
okay. So now we're at the biggest deal of the draft, and this is sort of a debatable thing. So, I mean, I say it's between three players for me. Denzel Mims going to the Jets in like I think third round, I believe.
Yeah.
And Josh Jones to the Cardinals, and Bryce Hall going all the way in like the sixth round of the Jets. So I think the Jets also had a really good draft, and I think if Adam Gase isn't Adam Gase this year, then they should be they could be another wild card team like Denver, because I mean, when they got bet they very hard because their defense is solid.
Yeah.
If Le'Veon Bell gets on the level that he was when he was in Pittsburgh, they should be that level.
I don't know. I still don't like what they're throwing out offensively.
Yeah.
I love Mims. I would have honestly rather the Eagles take him over Rieger.
Yeah.
With that pick in the first round.
Yeah, I think the Anderson thing is a problem because you don't really have a number one receiver on the team right now.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah. And, Sam Darnold's seeing ghosts. This team it's just very Jets.
Yeah, very, very weird spot.
Very similar to last year where we hyped this all up. And I just don't trust it. I like the Dolphins better.
I mean, if Tua goes
off.
If
Tua starts, I like the Dolphins' chances better than the Jets.
I mean, honestly, thinking about it, yeah, they do have Breida Howard. They got Breida and Howard.
Yeah.
They got Devontae Parker is one of my favorites.
Devontae Parker is a great receiver.
And they rebuilt the defense pretty much. Yeah. They got Byron Jones. They got Shaq Lawson.
Yeah.
They got Kyle Van Noy, which is a pretty underrated move.
Yeah.
What else? They should be good if Tua develops and stays healthy.
Yeah, and Kyle Van Noy is a good linebacker. That's not a name you hear a lot, but in that New England system, I know guys out of New England usually aren't the same.
Yeah.
But he is a solid linebacker, and that Dolphins defense plays around the same that Belichick plays his, because it's
oh god,
Brian Flores. Yep. So that team is solid. I truly think that. My steal of the draft was Bryce Hall.
Yeah.
I think we looked at him as a first rounder a year ago at Virginia.
Yeah.
And, he played a solid half a season. I don't know. The scouts must have seen something with the ankle.
Yeah, I'm
that was scary. And, so maybe he doesn't pan out the same. But I think if we get the Bryce Hall that we saw healthy in college, that is definitely by far the steal of the draft and could be even a number one corner in that New York Jets defense, honestly.
And you could throw in like a Dobbins, just considering like how ridiculous he is, like as just an athlete. But
I mean, we talked about Dobbins is the best back in this draft.
Yeah, sure. Really. Okay, so I'm gonna move on to division rankings. Like, have they changed like after the draft? Did I say 100% for the NFC East? So we're just gonna go division by division. We're gonna start with the NFC East because it's our division because we're Eagles fans. So unfortunately, even though it conflicts with my my allegiance to the Eagles, I still say Dallas is the best. They're far more complete. They have a lot less holes than the Eagles, and their offense is infinitely better than ours.
As much as I hate that, I agree with you.
And
I mean,
I say,
how bad does McCarthy have to be for this team to not win this division? I think that's the big question here, because everything is stacked right in their direction for them.
The only issue is secondary, but I mean,
I can see that.
It's still decent. Like,
I don't hate their secondary as much as everybody else. I like Awuzie. I thought we should have drafted him over Sidney Jones when that happened.
They got Diggs, right? They got Diggs.
They do have Diggs, who's not great.
Yeah, he's fine, but
still though, if that D line can generate pressure, it's like the Eagles 2 years ago.
I mean, they lost Robert Quinn, but Tank Lawrence is ridiculous.
Yeah, Tank Lawrence is ridiculous.
And that didn't they get Gerald McCoy, right?
They did get Gerald McCoy. That's right. And Gerald McCoy was, a stud.
He was a Pro Bowler like a few years ago. And I mean, he's kind of fallen off, but he's still respectable.
Yeah.
And it's okay. So, say Dallas, Philly, and then the bottom two are kind of interchangeable for me. But I'll say New York. I'll say New York, and then
interchangeable. Washington. Really?
Because I mean, it's really hard because the Giants' defense has always just been like a weird thing for me because Blake Martinez, as many tackles as he gets, is probably one of the most overrated players in the league. And
I think I hate Washington a lot more than you hate Washington.
Oh yeah. Because I mean, think at their free agency, like they, New York they got Bradbury from the Panthers, which is a really important need because their secondary hasn't been good in a while.
Yeah.
And I mean, your offense is pretty good. Like I like Danny Dimes. I like Ingram, Saquon. Like I think Slayton could develop into something. But
really,
I mean,
I
think he's pretty good.
He's a product of a rebuilding team. I think.
He's a product. I just remember, I started him the game that he went off against the Eagles. So.
I love Sterling Shepard. I think he could be a number one in this league.
Yeah.
And I think Golden Tate is an absolute bum.
Yeah.
But I think that Redskins team is depressing. I mean,
I think
35-year-old Thomas Davis is starting at linebacker. I mean, your only receiver is Terry McLaurin.
Sure.
I think that could be the worst team in football, honestly.
No, I think it's the consensus. Like a lot of people are saying, I'd still say like Jacksonville is going to be god.
Yeah. I like Gardner Minshew more than
I like Minshew more, but
and I like that defense better than I do. Well, it's close.
Yeah, if Chase Young puts that defense on his back like Bosa did, then they should be a little bit better.
A little better, yeah. I don't know. Is Chase Young really that?
I think he has
great
potential.
I think he has his moments.
Yeah.
But I mean, you look at the end of the season. This is partly biased by me because I'm a Penn State fan, and when I started watching Ohio State, it was more that end of the season. But I didn't see. There were a couple times when I saw that game-changing potential. I didn't see him carry it out the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
So if he can keep that energy, I think definitely. But if not, I don't know.
Yeah. Right. So, is your ranking like the same?
Yeah, my rankings is the same.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I
Eagles.
guess I think this is just take a little longer, so
Yeah,
longer than we'll expect it. So let's just go to I'm just gonna go all the way through, and then you can say all yours all the way through. So
yeah.
NFC North, I say Green Bay, Minnesota, Chicago, and then Detroit.
Should I go
Eh,
NFC
eh,
North now?
yeah, good.
Yeah, okay. I say Minnesota, Green Bay, Chicago, Detroit.
All right. I mean, that's fine. Let's go to NFC South. I say New Orleans, Tampa, Carolina, and then Atlanta.
New Orleans, Tampa, Atlanta, Carolina.
Okay, sure. I mean, I like Teddy Bridgewater a lot.
I'm not a Teddy
And the
Bridgewater
Robbie
guy.
Anderson thing is
Never have been.
I
I
think
never
Robbie
have been.
Anderson's a good ad for like a second receiver
I
thing.
think Teddy Bridgewater should be better than Kyle Allen,
Yeah.
but I don't know how much better. I think that injury is kind of a. I mean, you watch him play in New Orleans, it looks like they built that system around him,
Yeah.
and it looks like it looked like a Nick Foles versus Atlanta in the playoffs. We don't
Yeah.
want him to throw the football kind of thing.
Mhm.
So I guess you can do that with him and McCaffrey, but I think defenses are going to try to explore his weaknesses, and I think that Carolina team's not going to be great.
Okay, so let's go to the West, which I think is one of the most stacked divisions in the league. Like, there's no objectively awful team in the division. So I'd say San Fran, Seattle. Yes, no, actually, I think San Fran and Seattle are about equal for me, honestly.
Really?
Because I think the Buckner thing is big, and
I still like San Fran.
and losing Emmanuel Sanders is also a big
I
one.
think Kinlaw is a great.
Yeah, I think Kinlaw's pretty good, but with no big game receiver, then I think it's tough
Yeah,
to
that's
compete in
true.
that division.
And I still don't like Jimmy J.
Yeah, I've never been a Jimmy G guy, so
No.
I'd say San Fran, Seattle, Arizona, and LA, because LA is just a disaster right now, honestly.
Yeah. No, I have it exactly the same, and I
Right.
think LA. It's shocking for me how you go from the Super Bowl 2 years ago to this. I mean, is Jared Goff really that?
Yeah, he is. He's not living up to that.
No, of the number one pick. Making me glad for Carson for once.
All right, so we'll go to the AFC. So AFC East, I'd say. Oh God, I'd say Buffalo at the top, and then I don't want yeah, Buffalo at the top. I don't want to say New England any lower than 3. I'll put them
Really?
put them at 2. I'll put them at 2, honestly, because it's just gonna be a starting year for Tua and Dolphins, so I don't think they're gonna click like immediately. So I'll say Buffalo, New England, Miami, and then New York, because Adam Gase is one of the worst coaches in the league, honestly.
New England, Buffalo, Miami, New York.
All right,
That's my guy. I like Stidham. I love that defense. Yeah. I think they're like Pittsburgh last year. I think they go like 10
really,
and
I really
and
like
and I don't love Buffalo.
Yeah,
I've never loved Buffalo. I think they're good.
I like their defense, but their offense.
I love their defense.
Mediocre.
Yeah, and I think at some point you have to develop a running game there. Besides, 50-year-old Frank Gore. Yeah.
Frank Gore is where'd he go? Didn't he go to the Jets?
Oh, Frank Gore's not there anymore.
Frank Gore went to the Jets.
Oh dang! I didn't even.
He's going all around the division.
Wow. Frank Gore.
So let's go. Oh wait, did you finish yours or?
I said New England, Buffalo, Miami, New York. Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna go to the AFC North, which I think is an interesting division.
Yes.
Baltimore number 1, 100%, and then I'd say right below that Pittsburgh, which I still really like their defense.
Yeah.
Their offense is annoying because they screwed over Juju last year, just going through all these quarterbacks.
I know.
And I think realistically, if we didn't get Jalen Hurts, he would have been a good fit there.
Jalen Hurts would have been a good fit there?
Yeah, because honestly, I think with like Deontay Johnson and Juju, and who didn't? Yeah, they got Ebron. They have a few running backs. So.
I thought Jameis Winston would have been a good fit there.
Yeah, I mean Jameis would have been fine.
Honestly.
Yeah. He's a more athletic Big Ben, honestly.
He's
like so similar size, similar arm, but like
and
they're both
assholes. I mean, you make fun of the pick things, but he's still definitely a solid. Yeah, he's still fine. Solid NFL quarterback, I think.
Okay, so I finished that up. Then I would do a Cleveland, even though they're a joke at this point, and then
a joke,
and then Cincinnati right below them, just because they just need some defensive help. Even though I think Burrow is going to be pretty good, and he has some weapons. He has pretty great receiving core, honestly.
I mean, I have it the same way. I think I don't like Cleveland at all either, but at some point, Cincinnati. I like T. Higgins. I do. I think he's fine, but AJ Green needs to play football.
Yeah. I mean, Boyd's still good.
You got to rely on certain things. Who?
I think Tyler Boyd.
Tyler Boyd. Yeah, he's fine. I mean, he's a fine number 2.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
He's great in fantasy.
Yeah, he's pretty good in fantasy. So let's go to. Okay. Is yours the same?
Yeah, mine's exactly the same.
Okay, so AFC South. This is like a weird one because there's no. I mean,
this is hard.
I'd say Tennessee at the top.
Really?
Definitely.
Really?
Yeah. Tennessee. I'd say Tennessee. Then. Oh god, this is tough because I don't know if to say Indy. Yeah, Indy might be number 2. Just because Houston.
I got a hot take.
What?
I have Indy number 1.
Okay. Okay. So mine's Tennessee, Indy, Houston, and then Jacksonville.
I got Indy, Houston, Tennessee, Jackson.
Whoa.
Yup.
I mean.
Yup. I think the playoffs were a fluke. I think Derrick Henry's not going to be the same. He got too many carries.
Yeah, I don't think they can replicate that sort of run.
No.
I still think the Colts don't really have an identity with their offense at all. Like, I think Phillip Rivers
is good. They do. I think Phillip Rivers, they run that Frank Reich, Nick Foles level offense.
I still like Frank Reich.
RPO. I love Frank Reich. And I like Jacoby even. I think if Phillip Rivers isn't fine, I like this team the same almost with Jacoby. So I think that is your division win.
What receiver did they get in the draft? Didn't they get?
They took Pittman.
Yeah, they got Pittman and
who's decent.
Yeah, pretty good. They got Jonathan Taylor.
I might have taken him over Rieger too. Yeah. Honestly.
I think the Taylor thing could be good. I mean, Hilton's still pretty good. They got and their defense is still pretty decent.
Their defense is solid.
Yeah, it's fine.
Like, there's no besides Darius Leonard. There's no
superstar,
but they're fine. Yeah, they're solid.
So
and AFC West, we kind of already talked about this.
Yeah, AFC West, I'd say KC, Denver, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, KC, Denver, the Chargers, and then the Raiders.
Yeah, I have the exact same thing. Right. I don't like putting the Raiders. I don't like counting the Raiders out because they shocked me last season. Yeah. But at the same time, I mean, it just doesn't look good again.
Yeah. Right. So on to I think the only thing that's really going on in sports other than like the draft and all that is The Last Dance is probably the only sports program really going on right now, unless you want to watch Korean baseball, which sounds interesting. Okay. So
I'm gonna give a disclaimer. I did not watch Michael Jordan basketball.
Yeah, me neither.
Play basketball. So I cannot do that. It's before our time. But we're gonna try to give you
Yeah. I mean, honestly, when watching it, I knew like most of it just like from general memory, but honestly,
highlights, books I've read.
Yeah. And like the Rodman stuff, other than taking a break, like I thought most of that was predictable.
Carmen Electra.
Oh my god, yeah. And honestly, I think I think it's still like a great like documentary, but the problem
Oh
is
yeah,
like they didn't. I think they didn't like delve into the MJ stuff like deep enough because honestly, like they're
no,
saying like, yeah, he's kind of an asshole, but like I think since MJ's involved, like he doesn't want to tarnish his like legacy or like his reputation at all, so
I
they just
think
like dumbed it down a little bit.
this is so biased. I love watching it,
Yeah,
but
yeah, I still think
you
it's
look at
great.
the way it frames Jerry Krause in relation to that Hall of Fame speech he had. I mean, for me, you got to blame Reinsdorf exactly the same. I mean, look, he's in control of this team. He could have
Mhm.
easily said, Phil, you're here for another 5 years, like, and
Yeah,
fire Gary or Mike, you're staying. So
yeah,
he controlled this destiny, and he's the reason you Bulls fans have to watch Zach LaVine every night.
yeah. So I mean, yeah. So it goes into the Jerry Krause thing. Like, has like the teams, like the players individually, like treated him unfairly, and like, is it his fault for like the demise? I guess yeah. I guess the demise of Chicago Bulls, and I'd say like I'd say going back to that, like there are more factors definitely,
Yeah,
but I think yeah. Another problem with this is that it's just painting Jordan and Pippen as like these. I mean, they're still absolute legends, like the
yeah,
greatest players of all time, but they're painting them as like gods and like above everything else and just
yeah.
everything that interfered with their goal is just like Palpatine, like the Empire, which is just I think a little far fetched. Just they're trying to make themselves look as good as possible.
Well, and I
Honestly,
think the drama's far-fetched too.
yeah,
I mean, I was watching the other night, and they tried to make it look like Patrick Ewing and the Knicks were like some kind of gods.
yeah.
I
They
mean,
were not as big a threat as they made
they
out to
were
be.
like, come on, like,
They were second fiddle.
yeah,
That's what they were to the Bulls.
yeah. And so, I mean, front office doesn't win championships,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah,
It,
I don't know why the hell he said
like,
that. Even though it was
yeah,
misconstrued, but yeah.
like I'm with Michael Jordan is still the GOAT,
Yeah,
but
yeah, 100%. I
you
think that's no debate.
you have to look at it like in perspective. The whole team won this championship,
Yeah.
and the whole team probably led to its destruction as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because it was definitely like conflicting egos, I'd say.
yeah,
Because Scotty's like, I want money, and then Jordan's like, yeah, and so,
yeah,
yeah, Jordan kind of like hogged like all the money from the team, and honestly, that might have contributed to that might have spiraled into Scotty being paid like the 100th most highest player in the league, and
and I think Scotty had the right to be angry
yeah,
about that. I think
100%.
the surgery thing is wrong stuff. I think that's a horrible thing to do when you're about to win a three-peat.
Yeah,
But at the same time, Scottie Pippen is a top 20 player
yeah,
probably in ever.
yeah,
So to be paying him like not even top 100 in that NBA and to be paying
yeah,
Tony Kukoc over him,
yeah. It's
it
absurd.
is unfair.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, uh, should we skip over this one because I don't really have any.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, Jordan obviously there's a reason for his retirement
yeah,
outside of what they're telling us. My theory is it's the gambling thing. I still think that David Stern went up and said, take a year off to stop this gambling thing. But
yeah.
that might just be me. But I think there has to be something else to it, and I think that's it.
So, I guess we've went through everything that we were gonna talk
Yeah.
about on this show. So,
Wow.
if you've made it this far, I have no idea why you're here. You might not even be here. Maybe we'll get your reviews. Well, thank you for watching.
Thank you so
Or
much for
yeah, you might
listening. Do you
be
have any
watching
final
or
thoughts?
listening to this.
Yeah.
So, good
This is our
time.
inaugural one. We're gonna keep these coming, and
Yeah,
this has been amazing. Thank you
yeah,
guys.
right.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below,
And
and
yeah,
check
and
out
if
the
you're
website.
yeah, and if you're listening to this on Spotify, you should follow it. You should be making some social media accounts maybe for this soon.
Oh
So
yeah.
check this out and
All
to
right.
tell your friends, tell your rich uncle
Tell
to
your
sponsor
sister,
this.
tell your grandma. We're
Yeah.
taking ads if you
Yeah.
want it, like ad revenue.
You can literally plug anything.
Yep.
Like we are that desperate for money. Okay.
All right. Thank you guys.
Right. Okay. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll
Yep.
hopefully be back.
We'll be back soon.